This episode is brought to you by Cornhole Solutions. Do you have a cornhole question? Find your answer at cornholesolutions.com. Some of the best boards you'll ever get and see on the market, and underrated bags. We talk about them all the time. They got score towers, anything you need cornhole related. Visit cornholesolutions.com. And then our favorite bag company in the world, Local Bags. I mean, we say it all the time. Pro Blend resin. You can't get enough of it. It's phenomenal feel in your hand. Makes the bag play great. They have speeds for every type of thrower. So if you don't have a set in your arsenal, visit localbagcompany.com and get yourself a set.
Also brought to you by Airwolf Athletics, helping athletes become the alpha in all aspects of life. Stop by airwolfathletics.com and check out all their amazing products. Become the alpha and join the pack today. Visit airwolfathletics.com and use code BigAsp for 10% off your purchases. And I want you to close your eyes. All right, take a second, close your eyes and visualize all your bags. Look at that mental picture. Do you see a set of blackjack cornhole bags in your arsenal? If you don't, well, you went somewhere wrong in your life. So stop what you're doing, grab yourself a set of the best looking bags in the business. You get free shipping, amazing customer service. It's really a no brainer. So stop what you're doing, grab yourself your gear for blackjackcornhole.com. And code BigAsp is going to save you 10%. And last but not least, it's also brought to you by Bagsboard, the maker of the original cornhole bag backpack. Now offering you a build your own feature that has over 10,000 combinations to choose from. Need patches to go on that sweet ass bag? Bagsboard has some of the best around. Visit bagsboard.com and grab yours today. All right. Well, folks, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast, a special second episode.
Indeed.
We haven't done one of these just like interview episodes in a while, but I felt like our guest was he warranted
fitting.
his own episode. I feel like this is going to be a big one. All right, so we are joined by Mr. K9 Unit himself, the master of live streams of all things cornhole, Mr. Wally Kassler. What's going on, man?
What's up, boys? How you guys doing?
Going well. It's nice to have someone else that's like as tech savvy as you are, and you hop on. You got all professional, got the mic and the headphones, and this is gonna be a good one. I can feel it.
Oh yeah, I mean, just
All
getting
I
on
do
the
is
Zoom
push
call.
buttons and talk, man.
Us too.
Hey, it's an
Us
art
too.
form. It's an
It
art
is.
form.
It is. Listen, it takes practice. Okay, it's not as easy as we make it look, right, Wally?
True. You ain't lying. A lot of people don't know how much goes into it.
No,
That's
it's
for
your. Listen, okay, let's go ahead and talk about that for a second, all right? Because typically I like to start off with the softball stuff, but you brought it up. One of the things that I was so impressed with when you invited us to do the live stream first with you last year in Rock Hill was I had no idea how involved all the shit was. Like that you like when we live stream versus when you live stream, completely different world. I mean, you got how many different camera angles? You have an interview camera now. I mean, how long did it take you to get this set up?
Man, it started simple with cell phone footage and then two webcams and 50-foot cords, and now I've had up to seven cameras at one time going ahead. One over the board, each board, one facing each thrower, and then somebody, of course, had to throw out the suggestion. It'd be cool if we get another court. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'll just go ahead and start throwing wires all over the place. And seven cameras, one on myself, one in the crowd. It was really chaotic because I had to have all the buttons and everything wired. But typical setup now is five cameras usually.
How long does something like that take you to set up beforehand? Like before the tournament
I
starts,
would,
like how early do you have to get there to set all this shit up?
I've gotten it down to about an hour. The overhead trusses now are pretty much the hardest setup.
Seriously, you can
That's
get all that
impressive.
shit set up.
Yeah, yeah. So the overhead trusses, they probably take about 15 minutes because even though it's like Legos, you're supposed to plug them together. No, it'll take forever just to get the simple pin through the hole, and then running the wires. I used to tape wires, and that was the hardest part. But now I got those A frames that the ACL has, and I just set them on top of the wires,
Okay.
and it saves me a whole lot of time not having to tape anymore.
Well, I mean, you'll be impressed to know that Sean and I own a tripod, so that's how we do our live streams.
I mean, no big deal. I don't want to brag or
Moving
anything.
on up, boys.
I
Let's
know.
go.
Don't want
I
to
know.
brag. Don't want to brag. So did you have any background in like this kind of stuff before you started doing like this cornhole live
No,
stream stuff?
no, not at all. I actually just kind of so how I started. I got into cornhole from Brian Jones from Jersey County Cornhole. He started running some tournaments, and me and my buddy we played softball. We in between softball tournaments, we play some cornhole, and like we're good enough. We're always winning in softball tournament fields. Let's go. So we went to the tournament. My very first match was against Jerry Wolford and Brian Jones, two pros. We scored 1 point. We're so happy about it. We lost 21-1, went to the losers bracket. I think we ended up playing, I think it was like Steve Smith and somebody else, another 2 more pros, and we got our ass kicked there too. I'm like, what are you guys doing in the loser bracket? Man, leave me alone. So we went 0-2, but we sat around and watched. And he went back to playing softball, and I was like, man, I'm kind of hooked on this cornhole gig. Tested out some regionals, thought it was great. Met Jerry Wolford actually face to face, and then we decided that we were going to start MCA, Missouri Cornhole Association in St. Louis, and start running ACL tournaments. And they announced they were going to bring a national to St. Louis. So we're like, dude, we got to go. We got to go right now. Why wait till July? Let's go ahead and start. And we wanted to do something bigger and better and not necessarily focused around the pros. So we decided to set up live cameras on it. Set up 2 webcams, basically just had them on the screen, reached out to Trey Ryder, and he told us how to get the scoreboard on there. And, we just kind of played around with it for a little bit. And then I was like, well, hold on a second. I could probably do more. I just got to figure out how to do more. And it took a whole bunch of trial and error for about half a year. And then, I figured out how to do the 4 camera setup, commentated along the way. And man, I went back and watched some footage. I was terrible back in the day. I had no idea what I was saying. I was like, that bag is in the hole. Oh, that was a good shot. It was so bad.
Are you self-taught on OBS and all that stuff?
Self-taught on everything, man. Lots of Google and YouTube videos got me there.
Yep, I agree.
And then I kind of went into video game streaming a little bit.
Okay.
And in the video game streaming, that's how I realized that you can do all these overlays and different graphics and resize things. And then if you watch the live feeds, you see the transition where the doors close and instant replay. There's things like that, just from watching these video game streamers where I'm kind of like, man, that'd be really cool if I could do that in Cornhole. And I've just kind of taken off with it. Anytime somebody complains about something in my chat, that's where I actually got into reading the chat. So the video game streamers, they communicate with their chat. They appreciate all the stars that get sent in. And I think a lot of the Cornhole viewers, they appreciate that as well. So going a different route with it instead of like the whole crisp ESPN or ACL quality, I think has done me pretty well.
No, I think the crowd interaction is huge because it makes them feel like they're almost at the event and they can they're standing right by your shoulder and they can kind of ask questions and chime in, and you're still going to kind of answer their questions or respond to exactly what they're saying. How do you handle listen, anytime you do live streams or live and we're like in the cornhole media world, you're going to get some like negative bullshit that comes across. How do you handle that? Do you even not even respond to that? Just like,
oh no, I look at it and then I just kind of let myself think about it for a little bit, and then I go back to the hotel or home, and then I stay awake till about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, figuring out how to fix it. And then I wake up at like 5:30, go to the gym. So about an hour and a half sleep goes by, and then I take every single piece of criticism and I try and figure out how to fix it going forward. Blurry cameras, off-centered cameras, tilted, crooked boards. One person complained one time. I don't even know if it was a complaint or they were joking, but they were talking about like masking tape and painter's tape as far as the foul lines go. So I went out and bought some, gaffer's tape, making nice little white line, white boxes and stuff. Like anything that people say in the chat that could be wrong or that they don't like, I take it to heart, and I always try and fix it because I'm still trying to make everybody happy because I'm growing. There's one guy who's like, first thing I woke up in the morning, man, 7 o'clock in the morning, he sent me a message like, I think it's very unprofessional that you were talking about how many viewers you had during that Alex Hicks and Matt Guy match. I was like, bro, I broke records, man. We had 3,000 viewers for like one match. It was amazing. And I took it to heart for a little bit, but then at the same time, you know what? Screw that guy, man. It was a great time. I had an awesome match to call and part of history.
Dude, it was, first of all, people don't understand that. Like, we're still fans of the game. You know what I mean? Like, we're above everything else. So, like, when you see something cool like that, like with 3,000, that's an accomplishment. You're allowed to celebrate your accomplishments. Like, think back a year and a half ago. Did you ever think you'd be calling the Matt Guy Alex Hicks Max at, at Open?
No, I did not. So it's actually kind of fortunate for me and kind of bad at the same time that I even fell into this role. So I got fired on July 31st from my job because I asked for a raise. And we had a difference of opinion on that. So they fired me July 31st. And then
what were you doing before all this?
I was an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in accounting. But I got fired on July 31st, and then Chad Smith hooked me up with, from Casey Baggers out of Kansas City, he hooked me up with Trey Ryder. And on August 2nd, they asked me if I wanted to come out to Worlds, and you guys were out there helping me out with that. And I think everything went pretty well. They liked the setup that I had and got great reviews across the board.
Yeah.
And they want to do a test run for the first 3 opens. So went out to let's see, where was I? West Dundee, South Dakota, and then Cincy.
Yep.
And I think everything went really well, and they brought me on board. So basically signed a contract to finish out the rest of the season, doing the opens, except for the shootouts and the nationals and world championships again. And hopefully they like what they have and they hire me on full time.
Okay. So as of right now, oh, did you hear that?
I heard
I
it
don't know
too.
what's going on with the mic. So as of right now, are you signed up for the national events?
Yeah, I'll be at the nationals. So there's going to be 4 broadcast courts. We're going to be having 2 ACL courts. So I'll be part of the ACL crew running those 2 courts. So K9 unit won't have a live feed at the nationals, but I'll be there broadcasting with the ACL crew.
Do you know who the commentary is going to be for the 4 courts so far?
I do
like,
not
I know,
yet.
like I think Mike Morton said he was getting one. I thought.
Say it again.
I think Mike Morton said he was getting one.
Yeah. So the other 2 courts are going to be ultra and all cornhole, to my understanding.
Okay.
I mean, things could change, but as far as I know, there's going to be 4 broadcast courts, just like we did the World Championships. But I think that's the plan for all the nationals going forward.
Okay. I mean, by far, how long did it take you to accumulate all the equipment, and like how much of a number, like a rounded number, would you say you have invested into all the equipment you have right now? Because it's pretty sweet. Like you walk up to it. Like I remember when I was afraid to get close to it.
Oh, it's impressive as hell, man.
Like you have this clear casing with all these fucking lights and this supercomputer.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
so
I don't even want to touch this.
That computer tower alone was $2,500. Had that computer built so I could play Call of Duty and Warzone and then gaming. And then I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and put some more USB slots on the back so I could technically have up to 16 cameras on that computer if I want to.
Okay, that's true.
But I don't know if I want to go through that much trouble, that much wiring. Wiring alone, I probably spent close to 500. But overall setup, tripods, and now I have the overhead trusses, I probably spent close to 6K.
Okay. I mean, so realistically, with 16 cameras, I mean, you could set up 3 separate courts.
Oh yeah. If the wire's long enough, I can make it work.
Different links for each one, right?
Yep.
And you had 2 this past weekend?
Not links. I want to get to the point where I could post links. If you want to watch a certain match, you can click on that. I'm still trying to figure out how to make that happen. And then not only that, but now I switched over to the ACL equipment too. So
I got you. Okay. And how is it? Let's be honest. How's the overall experience been with the ACL?
It's been pretty cool. There's a couple hiccups in communication, but once everything gets ironed out, it's going pretty smooth. Josh Keck loads the truck up and he handles all the equipment, takes it all out to the venue. Then I set up the main court. Every now and then I get help setting up the main court, but more than likely it's usually me by myself.
Okay.
And then, it's pretty nice actually. Everything's in a schedule, it's routine. Trey Ryder does a great job of giving me the stream keys and the logos and anything that I need. And I just kind of play around with the computer and try some new things. I mean, if you look back at this weekend in Nashville, I mean, you could look at the live feed Friday and then you look at the live feed Saturday, and just in that one day, I changed a whole bunch of stuff up just playing around with the equipment.
So a separate, I don't know. Are you getting that feedback from on your end?
No.
I don't know what's going on. Is it just my mic?
I don't know.
It's weird. Every once in a while, we're getting this weird feedback. Anyway, so if you can hear it as a listener, I apologize. So, obviously, you're with the ACL now doing that stuff, but before your ACL, you formed K9 Unit. So, Can you kind of explain to everyone what K9 Unit is? Maybe take us through a little bit, like what your overall vision is for K9 Unit.
Yeah, so K9 Unit, basically, my name is Wally Kassler, last name spelled with a K. My baseball number is 9. My license plate on my car was Wally K9, and then I rear-ended a girl in a white Volkswagen, and I parked next to her every day at school in high school, and you can see K9 in the license plate or on her bumper from my license plate. So I kind of started the nickname K9. And then whenever I want to do live feeds, I want to do something separate from Missouri Cornhole Association. So, obviously just K9 is kind of vague. If you search that, pulls up everything. So K9 Unit is what I decided to name the broadcasting company that I created. And, it's kind of taken off pretty well. I think it's pretty easy to follow. And, it's helped me build some pretty good relationships, especially with Brandon Thompson at Airwolf Athletics. I mean, I think it's a natural fit there to try and grow the pack and grow the unit at the same time,
Well, we know a thing or two about growing the pack, so.
Yes, sir.
Believe me.
So, one of the listener questions, actually, I thought it was kind of an appropriate time to bring it on. His name's Joe Day. He wants to say, he says, for Wally, as a designer, I appreciate the details in the logos. Is there a story behind some of the choices you made in the logo design, like the breed of the dog, the different colored eyes, the half skull on one side?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a husky, so that's why the furry side is basically a husky. It's easier to go darker color on that. My dog's a maroon husky, but at the same time, you kind of know what it is.
Okay.
Chris Cook from the Jersey Guy came up with the logo, and then Melissa St. John from Onboard Apparel, she kind of perfected it and finished it and made it where I want it to be. The red and blue, just kind of an idea that I had, kind of like a yin and yang, you know what I mean? Red, blue. And then the kind of like half skull part of it is kind of like, there's always two sides to everything. It's basically a yin yang in the shape of a dog.
Okay.
One signifies for me the past and one signifies the future. And then, I've been joking around, people tell them it's like my game, it's my cornhole game. One side is really clean looking, the other side is just garbage and looks like it's dead. But no, it's pretty cool logo. I mean, I'm happy the way it came out. I had an entirely different idea of how I wanted to go, and then Chris Cook kind of took it in the direction made it look kind of cool.
Josh Zeller wants to know, a follow-up question. How anal were you with this logo, and how many times did you send to Zeller pissed off because it wasn't your vision?
Yeah, a lot. So I actually spent close to $500 just to get the logo made because I've gotten back some terrible artwork in the past. And I even sent money to people that never sent me any artwork whatsoever. I mean, they catfish me. But yeah, I would always send anything to him. Josh Seller's been huge as far as helping me out with Grill K9 unit. And I always send things to him, especially whenever there's colors involved because I'm colorblind. So,
oh, that helps.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they're the right colors,
Very nice. So, if I'm listening to this right now, maybe I'm finding out about K9 unit the first time. Where's the best way to follow you? Like, how can people kind of support you? All that stuff.
Yeah, so since we kind of grew pretty quick, I created the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, and there's absolutely nothing on there. So the goal in 2022 is to grow all that stuff, but the best way to find K9 Unit is on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you type K9 space UNIT, you'll see a picture of the logo. That's how you know you're in the right place. There's also K9 Unit Group on Facebook, and that's a place where you can go and help. If you're filming from your own phone or anything like that, you want to share your videos, you can share on that actual page, and it usually has pretty much the same followers as well.
Nice. And you also have, don't be shy, you have a Patreon page.
I do have a Patreon page. That's another thing I want to improve on 2022. We're also going to send out little emotes to the current Patreon subscribers, so that way when you're in the chat, you can send awkward knuckle emojis in the chat every time you see some awkward knuckles, man.
I love it.
And then just some cool things like that. And we're also going to send out fleekable t-shirts to all the Patreon subscribers as well. So yeah, you can search K9 Cornhole on Patreon. You should be able to find that there.
It goes, I'm a Patreon subscriber for you. I mean, I love your content. If you've ever listened or you ever watched a live stream, all right, that Wally's put on, and you're hearing about all the time he puts into it, go on there and make a freaking donation. I mean, you could go on. I don't even think you have a limit right now, right? You could.
I do not. Yeah. So my goal, whenever
$1 a month, you could buy this guy a beer a month for $5. You know what I mean? It goes a long way. All right. And this is coming from us, and we're in the same boat. It's hard to promote sometimes, like self-promote, and not sound like begging. We're not begging, you know what I mean? But we're proud of our content, and we want people to be, proud of our content as well.
Yeah,
and
we want to
so
keep
much
doing
so
our
that,
content.
yeah, correct. And again, if people aren't supporting us, Wally, how long are you going to be able to do this?
That's the thing too, man, is like the people that don't understand the sacrifice that goes into it. So I pretty much asked for 10,000 followers, and I was going to say, 20% of that sends $1 a month. It's actually been a little bit better. A lot of people have been sending $5 a month, but I only have like 20 subscribers. So currently I'm unemployed. This is all that I do, and I do it because I'm very passionate about bringing you guys great content. So currently I'm basically making $100 a month doing this, plus whatever the events pay out. But it's just a passion, man. I really want to bring you guys the best content, and all the positive feedback that I got just keeps making me want to go further and further. So even if you only send $1 or $5, $20, whatever your Patreon subscription is, it means a lot to me. So.
Hey,
I mean,
support. I don't know what's going on. This is some kind of feedback.
I'm
I don't
hoping
know,
it's not
but
getting out of the recording.
it probably is. But just power through it, people.
Is it echoing or something?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like when we start talking, we're getting like a quick little echo back, and
Yeah.
then like once we keep talking, it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, I think you're hitting it at like the perfect time because there's something to be said about kind of being the first, and you were kind of the first one to kind of take this vision of live streaming and kind of take it to the next level. So I think that you're getting in there at the right time, and hopefully it'll be you'll reap the.
I think it's coming through the computer, but I don't know how to turn that off without turning off this mic. All right, talk. I guess say something.
Yeah, it just happens every once in a while. It's not a big deal.
Yes, I can't hear you.
We'll power through it. It's no big deal. What did you?
Hold on a second. I got an idea. Let me try this.
Oh, cool.
See, this is the tech guy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. This is what normally we'd be like, just deal with the feedback.
All right, is that better?
We'll tell you in a little bit.
We'll see if it pops back up.
Okay. I mean, you can still hear me pretty well, right?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was probably coming through the computer mic and the headset mic. So there we go.
Might have been. Well, this is why you're a pro. So this is just helps iron out all this
On
stuff.
the fly, dude. I got to fix stuff on the fly. That's how it always works.
See, support this man. He knows what he's talking about. All right.
So you've gotten to call some pretty cool matches. Before we get into like the ACL players and all that kind of stuff, what did you find that was more difficult? So, because you said you're self-taught, like OBS tech dude, or did you find crafting your skill as a commentator more difficult?
Oh man, that's a good question. They're both very, very hard. I think the tech stuff for me is probably harder because if something goes wrong, I mean, you guys saw it at Worlds. Whenever something went wrong at Worlds, I got to scramble and make sure everything gets fixed.
Somebody had to charge
for the viewers.
That was
Cincinnati.
Oh, that was Cincinnati. Remember when somebody had plugged all your whole setup?
Oh my gosh, man!
Couldn't believe that.
Cincinnati. Yeah, so people unplugged my electric quite a bit, and that's my biggest pet peeve, especially whenever I'm, interacting with the viewers and stuff, and it just goes dead, and I get 20 text messages. Hey, what happened? Where's the live feed? Are you done? I'm like, no, I'll be right back. Got to reboot the computer. But no, I mean, commentating, I feel like I've never been the crisp, clear ESPN guy. I mean, Trey Ryder is the GOAT. Jeff McCarriger, I mean, they got their clip, their own little clean thing, And as far as me, I've always interacted with the chat a little bit more than I've called matches. I'm trying to get away from that and start calling more matches. But with the technology, there's just so many things that can go wrong. And, some people are just happy watching video with no sound. So.
But I think that's right. People have to understand there's not one way you can do commentary, right? So like you have a certain style, Tornado. He has a style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is very much play by play, nothing else outside. He's actually somebody I commentated with at the World Championships that I probably would never do it again because he gets like if you even ask him a question or try to throw in anything else, like he gets all flustered and like he's just so locked in and being like just solo guy. You have guys like Anthony.
Tornado's great at calling cell phone games. You know what I mean, where you don't have all the information on the screen.
Correct.
It's sometimes too much whenever you see the score on the screen. You have the overhead shot over the board, so like the viewers can see that. Like I don't need to tell you guys the bag went in the hole.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes you got to have like those little silent moments or kind of just let the viewer, understand what's going on themselves.
Like, I mean, I'm still trying to get better at it. Like I was just in Cleveland Regional this past weekend. It's something that I'm trying to get better at commentating. But again, I don't want to be the guy explaining what happens every single shot when it's important, like towards the end of the match. I think it's warranted. But if I'm sitting down next to somebody interesting, I want to have a conversation with them. Like if as a viewer, I guess like that's what I would like. I would like to hear some like, okay, I can watch this in the background, listen, and then okay, if something intense is happening in the match, then they're bringing me back in full attention. You know what I mean? Not that you're not paying attention to the match, but there's other stuff that's going on. I know that's some of the feedback I've gotten. It's like, like you're not on your podcast, you're not interviewing somebody right now. It's like, well, I get that, but like you can also use your freaking eyes and see that the bags are going in the hole, right? Like you have 5 different camera angles here. But it's something that I'm still trying to get used to it and when I should get involved. Trey Ryder actually gave us good advice in Erie.
He did, yeah.
He told us like, listen, when the match first starts, before they get over like 10, 12 points, you don't really need to go too in depth about exactly what's going on. Then as they start getting closer, then you want to start paying attention and maybe give a little more detail. So I've tried to take that to heart as much as I can, but it's definitely it's a craft you have to get used to. And I think it's so impressive that you're not just commentating, but you're managing 25 other things, the chats and the cameras and when we were sitting there and you walked away, there was no instant replay because I would always forget about it. Like
Yeah,
I would never
I
even
got the instant
think.
replay
I would
once or
never
I
even
twice.
say,
think like,
yeah,
oh,
I
I
say,
saw. I
Dane did
would.
a couple times pretty
Dane
good.
did, yeah, I could not do it because I'd be so into be like, oh, did you see that? And Dane's like over there pressing the button, hold it. I'm like, what are you doing? He's
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna
instant
see
replay.
it.
I'm like, oh, I have no idea.
See it again.
So that's what I was always impressive. So I think people need to understand that when they're listening to you particular commentary, you don't have the luxury of just sitting there and talking about what's going on. You're managing so many other things. So I think people just need to kind of take that into consideration.
Yeah, I'm producing and commentating and basically being the tech guy all at the same time. So my hands are constantly moving, and the equipment that I switched to now is basically one small computer monitor. You guys saw I had multiple monitors up.
Yeah.
The one I'm at now is like really small, so I have to alt tab and then like double click, and then I have to go from my Facebook page to the ACL's Facebook page to get all the chats in. So like I'm trying to include everybody. You know, obviously the K9 unit followers, they get a little bit more love than
Yeah.
the ACL followers just because I got to take care of my people. They take care of me. But yeah, there's just so many moving pieces to the live feed that if you haven't came up and at least watched me work at these opens, like just come say hi and take a look at it, and hopefully it'll help you guys appreciate it a little bit
Yeah,
more.
Because
you'll
what
be
they don't,
impressed.
I don't think a lot of
Guaranteed.
people realize is like, so like when Trey Ryder or Mike Morton or Anthony Ione, when they're sitting there commentating, they have a producer for them that
Right.
is just sitting there handling all that stuff for them. So they just literally all their focus gets to be on the match. You're doing both at the same time. Going forward, do you see yourself more as a producer or would you rather go more in the commentary?
I'm actually going to be doing both as far as I understand. So there's going to
Okay.
be a schedule now. So I'll be commentating probably like 2 hours, and then I'll be producing for like Anthony or Whitney or Michelle or somebody like that for 2 hours, or
Okay.
Trey. Depends on who's there, burning whoever's talking. I'll be pushing the buttons and moving stuff around like that. So it's probably going to be boring for me. Actually, it'll slow it down.
Yeah.
I only have to do one thing.
Can't be slacking on that though.
You can be active. You can be active on just you can't talk to the chat, but you can type and respond. So you can still keep it going with that. So you've gotten to watch some pretty awesome matches just this year. I mean, take away Worlds from last year, just the open events so far this year. Who have you been impressed by so far? Like who's somebody that you've consistently gotten to see play and you're just like, wow, like every time you watch him, you're like, this guy is just unbelievable or girl is unbelievable.
I mean, there's three that come to mind. So I know you only asked me for one, but I mean, the most impressive for me is Matt Guy, obviously. Like, he doesn't even care what the other person's bag is doing. He's throwing his game every step of the way, and it's either going to be slide in the hole or go for the airmail. And you really simplify the game that way because you got the roll shot now, the blocker, the push, and he's just basically either going for the hole with a slide shot or going for an airmail, and he's executing it damn near 80 to 90% of the time. And it's just ridiculously impressive. The second one is the young kid who beat him, Alex Hicks, with his execution on the blocker, the push, the roll, and the airmail. So, I mean, Alex Hicks, for only being 12 years old, just shows such composure. His IQ of the game at such a young age is what impresses me the most. And then probably the final person, Eric Davis, is just remarkable that every bag anywhere on the board is still in play for that kid. I mean, he's got all the shots as well, able to come across. He changes his bag angle.
Yes.
You can't really see it on the live feed that much, but I think Trey called it this last weekend. He threw that bag literally basically 90 degrees vertical, landed like next to the hole to have it like cut 90 degrees back to the hole. He changed the angle, come across the board to scoot it back up the other way. And it's really impressive how he's able to manipulate the bags and make him do what he wants to do. So those are my three.
I was just going to say Eric Davis is one of those players that you don't truly appreciate unless you get to watch him live.
Oh yeah.
Because it does not come across on ESPN or any of the live feeds or anything like that. You have to stand behind the kid and watch as he releases the bag. It is so crazy. I mean, how much angle he can put on those bags. I mean, it's unbelievable. The kid can do anything with a cornhole bag.
Right. I mean, you could actually see with these straight on camera angles now. Some people don't like the straight on camera angles, but I love them. Just you can see the different release points that people have, and you can see where exactly they release it. So if you actually just take a match and you sit there and look at the release point, look at the way their fingers are, and you can pretty much tell where the bag's going to land by how their hand is. If this is their normal shot and then they kind of come over like that, that bag's probably gonna be the left side of the board. And you learn a lot and you apply it to your game from these camera angles. I mean, I feel like I'm almost educating, like no Anthony Ione cornhole science, but I mean, it's a good tool to use if you're trying to improve your game.
What has been obviously we probably know the best match you've called, right? So I'm assuming Matt Guy, Alex Hicks.
Matt Guy and Alex Hicks, yeah.
Gone down. Is there any other matches that you kind of stick in your head as like those were really good matches to call, or you were happy you got to call them?
I mean, the match with Cheyenne Renner and Matt Guy this last weekend was also phenomenal. I mean, Matt Guy again did the same thing, went on a tear, made, I don't know, was it 20, 30, something like that in a row. And then Cheyenne just hung around long enough for him to make a couple mistakes. And then he was able to, or she was able to start chipping away at that lead and getting back into it. And then eventually he made a big mistake and she ended up winning the game off of it. But yeah, Cheyenne Renner and James Baldwin in Virginia Beach was another phenomenal match to call. Basically just watching James Baldwin's aim throughout the air is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But
So
I mean,
impressive.
The Jeremy Frazier versus Matt Guy in West Dundee was probably my other favorite match. Jeremy Frazier, if you guys don't know, is one of my boys from Illinois, and
ACL
him and I were partners at one point, and he left me, rightfully so. It was a good decision, kind of worked out for him, but I wanted to make sure that I had him some coverage. I got Josh Keck to give me the match on the main court, and Jeremy Frazier. I mean, that's the open that Matt Guy threw over an 11 average.
Yeah,
and Jeremy Frazier was only notch. So I mean, I was really proud to see my boy do that.
All right, so let's go to some listener questions. All right.
Yes, sir.
Grant Wood, he wants to know, do you actually say what you want, knowing that the players can hear you, or do you say it in your head? You know what I mean?
No, I actually like Trey Ryder this last weekend. Like he was kind of just talking really loud, and like the players could hear him because the crowd was really quiet this last weekend. I don't really know why. The matches were great. But Trey talks loud. Like Trey's talking, he's in his own little world. He's talking loud. And like whenever I talk, I try and get right up on the microphone. And like I want to make sure the players don't hear me because I don't want to be a factor in the game at all.
Correct. Okay.
So I try and like be as quiet as I possibly can to them.
Hey, you know what? They're pros at the end of the day. They should be able to tune anything out. So I mean, to me, talk away. All right, that's. I would love to hear you kind of bash them a little bit on a live stream. That'd be funny. Like, oh, that was a bad bag if they just missed the board or something.
Tyler Cobb is one that I've had a pretty good relationship now, where I can be like, Tyler, that was dog shit, bro. Like,
all right, another question from Ron Dowling. He wants to know if there's any K9 collab bags coming out soon, and if so,
perfect segue.
Look at that.
Yeah, perfect segue. So what we're trying to do is one collab every single month. As I said, Josh Zeller's been a phenomenal help with K9 units, so we're going to start things off the right way, and we're going to try and get these shelters out there to people across the country because the shelters are my favorite bag right now.
Review coming next week on the BigAsp Cornhole podcast.
Okay, there you go. So Josh Zeller said hello, and we're going to do a January collab with Vortex, so you can order some K9 unit Vortex zones or shelters. That should be available probably this weekend. February, we're doing collab with allcornhole.com. Chad Littlewood, as you can see, these last few opens, we're giving away like 10 sets every open now. And
that's awesome.
We got the Game Changers and All Slide 2.0s that I showed in my raffles a couple weeks ago. The Black Sheep Boys, Alex and LD said hello, by the way. We're going to do a collab with the Costellos and Blackwaters, and then Baghdaddy and Jordan, who also said hello to you guys. We're going to do a collab with them probably in April, and I've got a lot more companies that are reaching out, so we're going to do collabs once each month. You get the whole collection. There might be a little prize at the end of the season for you.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
I like buying bags, so.
Yeah, so do I.
Jacob Rowe wants to know. It's kind of like a tech question. So he said, "What is your setup for like live streaming? Computers, camera, software, Wi-Fi, hotspot, etc."
Oh man, if I tell you, you're gonna take my job, dude. I can't tell you all the trades of the track, man.
Are there like certain cameras that you recommend, like just like live stream cameras? Like what should people look for at least? Maybe not brands.
So yeah, the one thing I've learned a long time ago, you get what you pay for in electronics and tools. Obviously, the more you spend, the better it's going to be. I use Logitech Brios. They're about $200 webcams. You have to have power along with the 50-foot extension cord to get those behind the board. You can also do the side angles and stuff, but the Logitech Brios provide, 1080p quality for like $200 a webcam. You could also do like the $39, $49 webcam, but obviously you start getting smaller pixels.
Yeah.
Each camera I use now for all 5 cameras is $750 each, and they're run through SDI cables. So like I said, you get what you pay for. The more expensive you get, the better quality, the more features that you have, zooming, tilting, focus, all that type of stuff.
See, well, you wouldn't expect it from us. We're not even using our computer webcam. We have our own set up now. That's why we look so crystal clear to you.
Ooh,
I know. See,
fancy.
moving up in the world.
Fancy.
So I mean, I'm gonna save my question for last. It's
Okay.
the very last question on there. So Sean, let it rip.
All right. So Bud Wilson wants to know, what has been your most irritating moment while commentating a cornhole match, and your most satisfying?
But if you're not talking about when somebody unplugs my electric, then I don't really know if there's a more irritating moment than that. When you unplug the electric, I have to plug it back in, then I have to reboot everything, and with the cameras now, I have to resize all the cameras. So that's very irritating. And another thing that really bothers me is whenever I don't have a hard Ethernet connection and I have to run off of Wi-Fi, and everyone in the building wants to run off of Wi-Fi, and then my feed comes through at like 2 frames per second. I just can't stand putting out a crappy product, man. I get so anal about that stuff.
Well, and you're not going to get viewers. I mean, no one's going to stick around for that kind of stuff.
Surprisingly, they do, man. Like 20 or 30 viewers, they stick around just hoping it'll get better, and it never does. So sometimes I just end the live feed.
I love this question. So Brian Shiremeister wants to know, of all the legendary broadcaster calls, or they've called like multiple sports, what other sports would you like to call and why?
Oh, and real quick, my most satisfying part
Oh, yeah.
was awkward knuckles. I love awkward knuckles.
Oh, dude,
Awkward
that's the best
knuckles all
part
day.
ever. And if people don't understand that, it's like where they go to fist bump, they miss. I love it too so bad.
Yeah, so awkward knuckle t-shirts coming soon.
Thank you.
Oh man, I forgot who it was. I gotta give him credit. Hold on. Somebody right on the last live feed. He's like, I'm gonna make you an awkward knuckles t-shirt. So he wanted to give me some credit on it. While I find that. What was the other question? Sorry.
If you had to commentate, like, so he's basically saying all the
other
great sports commentators have commentated more than one sport. Like, what if you had to commentate it for another sport? What would it be and why?
I'd probably say football.
Okay.
I like, whenever I'm actually there at the football game, I like seeing the plays develop, and I like seeing the different routes ran by players and how they go about making the play actually happen.
Okay.
So I feel like that's kind of cool. My
Who'd
buddy
yours
wants me
be,
to
Sean?
commentate darts.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it'd be kind of cool to yell
Yeah, it
180.
would be kind of sweet. I don't know. For me, it probably would be rugby or football, I would imagine.
Mine would be baseball, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I love that they just get to sit there, and it's kind of like cornhole where you got like that lull period, but the obscure facts that come out about individual players and stuff during a baseball game, I'd love to just spout those off.
Oh, just the fact that you have to sit through an entire baseball game
Be like,
all
oh,
the time. would
this
be rough.
shortstop was also
Baseball can be
lead
fun.
play in his
It can
high
be
school
fun. I love
musical.
baseball. Don't get me wrong, but just night after night, it takes a
I
special
love. I
human.
mean, I can watch baseball over.
Well,
and over
NFL, you
again.
get 16 games, you're done. You're in and out.
Yeah, so the awkward knuckles guy, David Eubanks Jr. He's got a design he sent me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
shout out to him. We're getting some awkward knuckle t-shirts on the way.
Heck
He
yeah.
is part of Ghost Cornhole, I believe. He
Okay.
ran a lot of the Ghost Cornhole leagues.
Yeah.
Like on
Nice.
Facebook. So so you football, do you have like a favorite commentator that you like to listen to?
Not necessarily. I kind of just enjoy all of them, and I follow my fantasy teams really. So I watch the Red Zone quite a bit.
Sorry, you could say not Joe Buck. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Buck is Joe Buck, though. That's the thing. Is like people are trying to change Joe Buck and make him what they think he should be. And I kind of feel Joe Buck now that I'm on this side of it, where people are like trying to tell me how to do things and stuff like that. But it is what it is. I mean, the guy knows he's famous. He knows he's good, and it is what it is.
He's an asshole.
So
He's
you gotta learn to appreciate people for what they
historically
are.
anti-Cleveland.
Yeah, he's
And anytime he calls any Cleveland match, he just always shits on us, no matter what. No matter
Well,
what
see,
sport.
it's funny because we think he's anti-St. Louis, even though he's from St. Louis. So he's just anti-everything.
He is. He just has that air about him. I don't know. I just never a big fan. But anyways,
So
you had that
yeah,
last
I got
question. Go
the
ahead.
last question, and
Put it this way, real quick. I hope that people hate me as much as they hate him because he's
Listen,
making
you
some
made
bank
listen.
commentating.
You only have haters if you're making progress, man. So
Exactly. You
the way to
don't
do
boo the
it.
players you love.
so the final question is from all of our boys, Mr. Josh Zeller, and he just wanted to ask you, Wally, simply, who correctly said Cheyenne for the win this past weekend?
I actually don't remember when I was editing that Josh Zeller ever said Cheyenne Renner. I'm pretty sure it was only me. So I'm pretty sure I nailed it right on the. Actually, you know what? Chad Littlewood as well. He sent her a text message. I'm not sure if I should tell him, behind the scenes text message or not, but he's like, hey, I'll give you like $5 for every, DPR that you have the rest of the match. He's like, let's get going. She went to the loser bracket pretty early. And I think the very next match she won 22-0. So Chad lit a fire under her ass, and then she ended up coming all the way back and winning the whole thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
match that she had against Eric Davis was crazy. I don't think you got to call that one, but
I didn't know.
it was a really good match. It was same thing as her against Matt Guy. Eric jumped out to a big lead. He was actually sitting, I think, at 20. She crawled back all the way to 15, waited for that one opportunity for Eric to kind of fall apart, and she ended up putting 6 on him in one round and squeaked through with 21-20 victory. So it was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, I was following the score and updating as it was, and I was like, "Oh man, he threw a 5 in the final round, and she threw a 10 to win, or
Yeah,
whatever."
it was crazy. It was crazy. All right, so we're gonna go to our favorite segment. It's called Fun Random Shit. All right, we kind of put it aside for a little bit. We're bringing it back. We figured no other better person to kind of bust it out with. So these are just some fun random questions we're gonna ask you. If you had one alcoholic beverage to drink for the rest of your life, what are you going with?
Man, so I've lost 40 pounds since August, and I'm a normal Bud Light drinker, but I switched to Mick Ultras. But I'm kind of starting to feel the Tito's and Red Bull lately.
Oh, all right, little vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm trying to get fancy, pinky out and all that stuff.
Hey, I get it.
Moving up in the world,
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I can afford an extra drink.
Well, except for when you go to these venues where they're charging like $11 a beer, I heard, and there's only craft beer. They're getting a lot of. I heard there was not too many pleased individuals with this venue the last time.
I had 0 alcohol at the venue this weekend because there was some cans I did not recognize. I couldn't tell if it was a soda or an alcohol. I didn't drink none of it, but I do want to shout out everyone who sends stars during a live feed every time there's a 12 on 12, and I yell social. Whenever I say that, that means you're supposed to raise your drink up and take a little sip every time there's a 12 on 12 on the live.
Done.
We're supposed to do it now.
Yeah, we can.
And they send the stars and they buy me
sip.
drinks. There we go.
There it is.
All
He's
right,
got a whole list. Go
Oh
pick
yeah. Let's go with this one. What mythical creature do you wish actually existed?
Man, unicorns.
Right.
I love how that just came so
Man,
fast.
unicorns.
Unicorns. Like you thought about this like on the way over.
Fucking unicorns, man. I don't know.
Awesome. You don't have to explain yourself. I just
Yeah.
love that came to your mind so fast. You need awkward knuckles and unicorns on your shirt or something. That's where it's
Unicorn awkward knuckles.
Oh,
There we go.
awkward hooves.
Oh, dude, don't tempt me.
I just did. All right. So what movie do you quote on a regular basis?
Probably Dumb and Dumber.
Ooh, all right. So we can get
Classic.
along.
I could probably recite all of Dumb and Dumber. Like,
All right.
but I mean, they're also Anchorman. Anchorman's got some good ones.
Oh, it's two of the best.
We actually lit up our
If you
day
want,
today.
if you want
on
to,
Patreon.
yeah, we typically do like little mic checks and stuff, just something to kind of
dusted off the old singing voices.
Yeah,
for
we
a little
performed a little
delight.
afternoon delight today. So if you want to check that out, it's only available on our Patreon account.
Yep.
So we can hear us harmonize here a little bit. So
And I'm not sure if you could see the autographs on the hat, Brett guy and Matt guy there, but I finally got to hear their Corn Stars song a second ago.
Yeah, we made the cut.
Your boy and my boy Ricky Wyman just sent it to me, so it was fun.
Love it.
oh man, I love that they have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was kind of bummed that I wasn't like asked to be on there. I mean, I saw these.
This was a long time ago. He asked.
Yeah,
he asked people.
it took a while.
Like I want to say it was 6+ months ago. Like it was right when we first started coming up here.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, so it was like right when the first time the pandemic was starting to slow down, and we like, oh, maybe we're kind of over all this bullshit. That's when he like reached out to a bunch of people. So don't feel bad. It was like at least 6-8 months ago.
Yeah, it was a while.
Something tells me there'll be another one. I mean, they
I'm
hit it
sure.
pretty good.
100%.
They-
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Well, especially because Matt wasn't in it. You know what I mean? Like he's singing, but like I want to see them in it. Like you got Brett sitting there in the chair. So like I feel like he had the easy job.
What you gonna do?
All right. So one of my favorite questions: Crew Cup Dream Team. You have to create a Crew Cup Dream Team. Who are your 4 If you think you're good enough to be on the team, put yourself on there.
Oh man, I mean, all right. So, quick shout out to my sponsored players: Jerry Wolford, Kyle Anderson, Craig Irvin, Matt Ryan, and Carson Getty, rocking the K9 New jerseys. But my elite four,
That being said,
they're not on
not
the
gonna
team.
have you guys on the team.
They're not on the team. It's got to be Ryan Windsor, Matt Guy, Alex Hicks, and myself, because I feel like they could carry me to the victory.
Okay.
I love it.
So
I
you
got-
think
I got-
that
I got
highly of
the-
Alex Hicks?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I
Okay.
do. I feel like he's got the escapability for some bad rounds or something like that, and he's got the discipline to, stay consistent when he needs to. He doesn't take unnecessary risks. I feel like if I were to throw, I'd probably throw on the same side as probably Baby Goat. Yeah, he could save me.
Okay.
And let Ryan Windsor and Matt go on the other end.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I was gonna branch off that. Go ahead. I'll think of it.
Oh, what hit song do you every time you hear brings back a wave of nostalgia?
Oof. Man, I don't know. I'm big in Juice World right now. So Come and Go is just burned in my head right now. It's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. I've been
Okay,
listening to that pretty much every day at the gym. Been hitting the gym every single day, and that's like on a playlist. So.
What about you, Dan?
I mean, for me, I think it would be ELO's Telephone Line.
Really?
Yeah, every time it makes me think of Happy Gilmore.
Oh, all right.
You
Yeah.
know, it
I can
just
see that.
every time.
For me, it's whenever I hear the Michael Jackson song for Free Willy.
Oh yeah.
I think of Tyler. Drunk in the streets of college. We have our cousin came up visit us in college one time. He was wearing like this white button down shirt, and that song came on. And like he was so hammered, like I don't think he realized that there was other people in the room, and he just like went full out. Like I
Ripped
think
his
he
shirt
thought
open.
yeah, ripped his shirt open. Like I think he thought there was a fan blowing on him or something. Like so, just good college memories that I always like to think back on.
Yeah, I mean Bohemian Rhapsody. That's one I
Oh.
karaoke to with my family, and that was a great. I don't even know if it's Christmas or birthday or what. We all grabbed a microphone. We all kind of just went all act out and just on the
yeah.
ground singing, yelling, jumping. It was fun. So maybe that one.
Okay.
We don't want to do that too much though.
What I want to a common question I've been asking every guest recently, ever since Hicks actually won the Open. So we've had Cheyenne Renner win an Open right now, and we've had a junior win an Open. What's going to happen first? A female wins a national, or a junior wins a national?
Only singles.
Singles or doubles?
I'd probably say female wins a national.
Is it because
And there's a lot of great females out there. Cheyenne Renner's got the leg up, having James Baldwin as a partner. I love Kyle Hutley, but it's the same question Trey has: is Kyle Hutley good enough to hold his own as Alex holds his own on the other end? The Gores throwing together, if they get a chance to.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got.
I think they're scary too as a single. You know what I mean? If all they have to do is just if they get that chance to get in a bracket, either one of them can go on a deep run. Will they win it? I don't know. I think that they can I think they're going to make some noise and really make people recognize. I don't know if they would necessarily win it, but I think Alex Hicks probably would have the best chance. Maybe Caleb Matson, something like that.
I mean, Alex Hicks is pretty much the only one who's beat consistently King of Cornholes. I know he beat Eric Zockline, I think, in the qualifier.
Okay.
And I can't remember if he threw against Tanner or not, but I mean, he's beat, Matt Guy, obviously. So.
Okay. I mean, it can happen at any national. One of them could get hot. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cheyenne Runner win. You know what I mean? A national here at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
so close to World. So.
she's 3 in a row right now, getting out of opens on her bracket. So I mean, Jacob Gore even said it. He's like, I think I got a good chance of winning my bracket. Cheyenne on the other side will meet in the king seat match. He's like, I want to play that one. And then Cheyenne lost early, so he didn't have to play her in the king seat match. He earned the king seat, and then ultimately she came back and double dipped him. But I mean, that was a strong showing from Jacob Gore. Learned a lot from that kid. But it just shows how elite Cheyenne is. I mean, she did not care that he was a 12-year-old boy and just whooped the crap out of him.
Oh, you can't because he doesn't care. And
Yeah,
you would think,
no.
like, seriously, that kid plays like he's
He makes grown men
30-year-old
cry.
biker dude. You know what I mean? Like, plays with a little fire. I love it.
He's got some moxie, man. That kid's confidence is through the roof, and like I was actually really impressed with how clear spoken he was. I don't really speak clear myself all the time, but I can judge somebody by how they make eye contact with you and how clearly spoken they are. And I mean, he's going to be good. He's going to be one of the best at some point.
Yeah, Scotty's done a good job with both boys. They're both very well spoken, like good kids. I mean, people just forget like they're competitors, and like if I would have been at their level when I was 12, I'd be acting the same exact way. And listen, there are still some adults that don't act great when they lose. I mean, let's call it how it is. Matt and Brett Guy are not the best losers in the world.
They're not.
I mean, that's one of the things that, obviously Matt Guy is considered the GOATs, but Guy Nation throughout their whole careers have kind of made some enemies along the way because of the ways they've acted when they've lost. And it's one thing that, I get it because, in the heat of the moment, any of us could act like that when you're a true diehard competitor and you expect to win. But, just I think it's something that they just might need to work on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, one of my first big wins. I tell the story all the time. We went to an ACL major in Chicago. Um, Me and my buddy Nick Davenport, we were playing. Our pool was Ethan Morgan and Courtney Coy, Jeff Reynolds and Chucky Love, and then the very bottom seat was Dave Sutton and Ryan Windsor. So yeah, we went 0-2 in pool play. We didn't get out of pool play, and we went and played some mess around games against Matt Guy and Brett Guy, and we beat them 21-20. And like I reached over to shake his hand, he just walked off the court. I was like, okay, the fact that you're pissed off makes me feel like I actually won that match, whether you're trying hard or not. You know what I mean? But it was one of these things. My first impression of him was like, oh, that guy's a dick, And then you actually sit there and talk to him, and like he's funny. He's one of the nicest guys. I mean, like, but when he's in the heat of the moment, man, I mean, you can't blame him. He's competitive.
And same thing too. I think sometimes people they try to go up to him like when he's warming up or something. And they'd be like, "Oh, he didn't even respond." Like, well, he's like locked in right now. Like, would you go up to like a professional athlete, right before they're about to go up? You know what I mean? Like, they're really locked in right in that moment. Like, you can't bother them. Like, you can't expect them to kind of go out of their way at that right at that time.
I mean, you might. I would definitely walk up to any professional athlete and just talk to him.
I get it.
Who cares?
It's kind of like walking up to Brett Favre before he goes in the huddle real quick. Like, hey,
yeah,
I got work to do, man. I'm on the clock.
Yeah.
Hey man, big fan. Just want to let you know, love what you do.
Yeah, you saw my shirt.
Stuff. Yeah, correct. Can we take a quick picture? Do you mind?
Selfie real quick?
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, Wally, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a blast. It's been a long time coming.
For sure.
We kind of talked about this ever since you reached out and asked us to join you at Rock Hill, which thank you again. I mean, we weren't sure if we were going to go or not, and then when you offered the invitation, I'm like, that's what we want to do.
That's all we needed.
You know what I mean? So we have a blast. We also had fun in Cincinnati. We love doing it. You've run the best live stream there is out there. So again, just let the people know one more time, like how they can follow you, how they can support you, all that stuff. Shameless plug time.
Yeah, so there's basically right now it's on K9 Unit on Facebook. So K9 space UNIT, no dash, no hyphen. Check out K9 Unit on Facebook. While you're there, make sure you hit the thumbs up and hit the follow button for me, trying to boost those numbers and help the algorithms out. And anytime you check in a live feed, if you're in the chat, just do a real favor, real quick, just hit the like button. I think I had like 600 viewers this last week and only 200 thumbs up. So we gotta start balancing those out a little bit.
It's not that hard. Just click a button real quick.
And it doesn't hurt anybody to hit a thumbs up.
Yeah, so I mean that's huge for me as well. And then, like I said, if you guys send stars, man, definitely appreciated. If you send stars to the ACL page, the multi-million-dollar ACL company gets those stars, that dollars. You send them to the K9 page, I get that money, and it goes right back in the live feed because let's face it, man, I'm trying to give you guys the best coverage I can. So appreciate all the support, man. Sean, Dane, definitely appreciate you guys. all the sponsors and everybody, all the companies who have reached out and helped me grow the canine unit. I appreciate it.
Well, dude, you're a good dude. I love the product you put out. That's why I want to support you any way you can. If you ever need anything from us, just holler, and we'll have you hang on for a minute. We'll let the folks go. I guess enjoy the rest of their day, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, whatever
They're
they're
going to
doing.
go hit that follow button real quick.
They
Damn
are. They're
right,
gonna go
yeah.
right to Facebook, go to Canine, no hyphen or anything. They might even check out your Patreon page. So if they go to patreon.com, search Canine Unit there, and just throw some money your way.
Oh yeah, Fleekable and Awkward Knuckles coming soon.
Always. All right, folks. As always, we hope you throw it straight, and it's nothing but four baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.